question on the Chris Meade from those 247.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Coach Woodson.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Good. I was wondering just what's your thoughts about the secondary after a week of working with them, and also how are the newcomers, both the transfers and the freshmen, doing, kind of getting their groove and settling in with the bunch?
Yeah, well, big picture-wise, we've done a really good job as far as coming to work and just trying to compete and get better. The biggest area of improvement for us is just being great at the things that require enough talent, you know, controlling the things that we can control and doing that to the best of our ability. I do like the way that we competed and made some plays on the field, but we still got a long way to go in a short period of time. In terms of the newcomers, you know, those guys are really doing a good job standing out. You know, Jerry and Jones, Miko, Dotson, both of those guys have done a phenomenal job in terms of, you know, playing within the framework of the defense and making plays. You know, both of those guys have really stood out. In terms of the freshmen, we still got some work to do with those guys. Got to continue to keep them focused, continue to, again, just get good at the things that require no talent.
Hey, Coach, when you bring in older players from other programs where they've already played a good amount of college football, how much of what they've learned translates immediately, and then how much of teaching do you have to do, you know, besides just concepts, maybe even techniques?
Yeah, well, you know, the experience part definitely stands out. You know, those guys are really good in pressure situations because they've been in that with the experience. In terms of the technique and fundamentals, the good thing for both of those guys has been a lot of carryover from what they've done at their previous institutions to what we do now. Just some little things that they've had to adjust to in terms of what I teach in comparison to what they've been taught. But again, they learn quick. They some guys you tell them once and they got it. So it's been a really smooth transition in terms of picking up what we do and how we do it.
Hi, Coach. How's it going?
Hey, Perry. How you doing?
Not too bad. So you mentioned so many people up off the top on that first answer. How do you like to rotate your DBs in and just kind of get people fresh legs and also put them in the position to succeed?
Yeah, well, we would definitely work as a unit this year. You know, the good thing, I got more depth with this secondary than I've ever experienced. You know, so we will be deep. We're 3 deep at certain positions with guys that we feel good about. You know, so it's going to be a collective deal. Not a lot of rotating within a series, but by series. You know, so I'm excited about the depth. Obviously, competition brings out the best in you. And knowing that the guy behind you is just as good allows for you to be the best player that you can be. So I'm excited about the depth that we have. And knock on wood, we continue to stay healthy and keep progressing.
When you go, I know you guys have a scrimmage tomorrow night. Do scrimmages bring out different things in different players? I mean, do you usually see players? Is it usually just a carryover from practice, or when you get into the stadium, do sometimes you see different things? And what do you look for in those situations?
Well, you know, a lot of guys look really good with just helmets on. You know, once you start including the physicality and the full contact of everything, things start changing. You know, so I'm anxious to see how the guys respond to putting it all together and putting them in a game type of situation. We're going to be in Doak Campbell tomorrow, full padded practice under the lights. So, you know, you learn a lot about your players and get a lot of good information at that point. So we'll know more about where we stand tomorrow night than what we do right now. And I just look forward to seeing them go out and compete.
Hey, Coach. When you got so many guys you've talked about, I mean, the depth of the unit, it's a lot of guys who may not have played a ton, especially here. How are guys like Asante and Hamza, those established guys, and kind of show them the way?
Yeah, well, and that's the area where I'm asking them to improve at, just leadership and teaching the guys that haven't been here the standard of being a Florida State defensive back. And, you know, those guys have really been good for the room in terms of their expectations from a player-to-player standpoint, because, you know, on good teams, coaches lead. On great teams, players lead. And just continuing to show those guys how to take ownership within the room. It's their group. It's not my group, so we just got to continue to progress and improve in the leadership department. And I like where we're going at this point.
You had great success at Auburn with the defensive coordinator like Kevin Steele. What's it been like for you, I guess, having Adam Fuller, your defensive coordinator, sort of be maybe a little bit more hands-on with helping out in the defensive backfield?
Yeah, well, it's been a great experience. Adam is a young, sharp, up-and-coming, great defensive coordinator, future head coach. So I've learned a lot from him in a short period of time. He got a lot of new ideas with things that I've never experienced. And vice versa. So it's been really good working hand in hand with him every day, just in terms of putting the big picture together for how we can make this defense play the best of their ability.
Coach, one guy that I think a lot of Florida State fans wanted to see last year, they weren't able to, is Travis Jay. How is he looking? I know he was able to practice some last year, but he didn't get to play. How is he looking in camp, and is there any rust from that layoff from game experience?
Not at all. Obviously, fundamentally and technique-wise, he got to continue to be consistent with that. The talent is not an issue. Travis he's probably one of the most gifted young men I've ever coached in my 16 years of coaching. The future is really bright with Travis. Again, the main thing for him is, like I'm telling everybody in the room, let's be great at the things that require no talent. He got all the talent in the world. He's a kid that can play any position in the secondary, and he's sharp. He understands the game. He's been doing a really good job in terms of special teams as well. So he'll definitely be an impact player for us. And, he obviously the experience is going to help him. He'll get better in game 9 than he will be in game 1 because he didn't play last year. But I like where he's at. But again, he's still got a lot of fundamental things we got to clean up. So I'm impressed with Travis, and I'm excited to get the chance to coach him.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Gene?
Pretty good, thanks. Hey, I want to ask you about Jaden Lars Woodby. We talked to him the other day, and he mentioned, I asked him kind of his position. I think he described it as a Swiss Army knife. How are you lining him up in this secondary? Is it kind of a hybrid position? And then how has he been doing out there?
Yeah, Jaden is very consistent, very reliable, very dependable, and he's a really good player. He fits the buck position that we're playing him at. His strength is physicality, so we will be getting him involved a lot with the run game as well. And he's not a liability when in terms of coverage. So I'm excited to have Jaden. He's doing a really good job as far as being a leader and being a leader by his actions. I'm continuing to challenge him to be more of a vocal leader as well. But I'm excited with where Jaden is at. And he definitely shows up every day to come to work, and arguably the most consistent player in the room for sure.
All right, thank you, Coach.